We in Sahara reporters with much to report. I play a trump card in case they trying to deport. A lot of people need to hear me more. A off man like Seymour. But I'm about the better things in life. Realize it's a freestyle, but it seems like I really write. I don't know if I could swear a curse when I'm spitting this verse. I just keep it clean, spitting like detergent on the verse. It's Sahara reporters, and I'm crossing the borders. And I told all the mothers that please be hiding your daughters. Cause y'all, what up? It's your boy Ycee on my Laji #1 new school Jagaban.
Jagaban, want my pay me Jagabani. They thought I was a foreigner, want my pay you Rabani. I can tell that you really like you Spanish.
Think of Daddy, and you know, pretty much the waviest of them all. I think it's something that we shouldn't shy away from. We should be, you know, pioneers of that movement, because in as much as, you know, we're trying to keep the sound as traditional and, you know, true to its roots and culture as it should be, but in order to get, you know, the people that, the non-Africans, people outside Africa, to buy into that sound and, you know, be part of it, I think the best way of that happening is making the sound a lot more relatable, because you wouldn't do a song in a native language and expect a foreigner to, you know, immediately want to enjoy that music when he, first of all, doesn't even understand what it's about. So I think in as much as we're trying to make it understandable and trying to make it a lot more relatable, we shouldn't, you know, do away with the key, you know, factors, like things like, you know, the rhythm, the sound, and mostly the things that make African music African. We shouldn't forget that, because you see a lot of artists trying to cross over, and in a bit of trying to do that, you know, they're not sticking true to their sounds. There's usually the conversation of rap is not an African thing, or it's not something that Africans should indulge in. It's not our style, it's not our culture, it's not our tradition. But if you look at it, you know, you can't really say that, because you have people that rap in like indigenous languages, and they still, like, there's rappers that rap indigenously and still do hardcore. So it still comes down to what I was saying earlier about, you know, making the music relatable and making people understand what it's about. So you can't just come and start trying to, you know, kick a foreign type of rap and expect, you know, Nigerians to buy into that. It won't happen, because that's not what they're used to. But when you take a language that they understand, like say Pidgin, for example, or Yoruba or Igbo, like what, you know, Fino, Olamide and them are doing, you know, that's the best way to get attention. So I definitely feel like hardcore rap should have a place in the African music scene. I don't think it's about originality or anything. I think it's just about commercial value. If, for example, you're a footballer and, you know, you see that, oh, C. Ronaldo, the way C. Ronaldo plays, you know, he dribbles and he takes long shots and he's always scoring. You know, when you're in training, I mean, you would want to, you know, okay, this is what this guy is doing right, then, I mean, he's doing something right and it's working for him, so you would like to follow suit in that way. But at the same time, people need to understand that we are all different individuals. What could be working for C. Ronaldo, it's not the same thing that could be working for me. Some artists forget that music is an art form and it's not always about making money all the time. I mean, if you're able to create something original, it would pay you a lot more than copying somebody else. I mean, you could copy somebody and have your own hit song and make some, you know, make some quick bucks and all that, but it would cover a longer time frame if you came up with something a lot more original. But I haven't, this is the first time I'm hearing it, but I mean, it's a good thing, you know, as human beings, as creatives, I think people don't understand that we feel the need to want to reinvent ourselves at some point in time, because you can't be the same from the start of your career all the way down to whenever it ends. So I think him dyeing his hair is not something that's gonna affect, you know, the quality of his music. It's just his appearance. I mean, he's looked a certain way for a number of years, and I mean, if Wizkid says he wants to dye his hair, nobody should be. We should be like, okay, finally, you know, a different look. And I mean, the same thing goes for myself. When I started out music, I didn't even think I was gonna have dreads, but it got to a point my hair started growing, and I was like, okay, let's see how this goes. And it actually started working for me. Like, it could even be said that when I started growing dreads, that's when my music started becoming accepted by people. So I mean, I had dreads for a bit. My hair has been one color since I was born. So I just felt like, okay, let's see, you know, what we could do to the hair. And I actually tried green one time. based on patriotism. But it actually didn't work out. Like, I don't even think I took pictures of that. So I just immediately went back. I went back to black, and then I tried this color. So I think, you know, as artists, we constantly feel the need to reinvent ourselves. There's always that desire to evolve and, you know, see, okay, how can I make my craft better? How can I make my appearance better? And saying that he's getting carried away with like the Western sound, or Drake is getting him carried away, if you check the last songs he's released, I mean, Wiz is one of those artists he's not been swayed by the fact that he's buzzing, you know, outside Africa, he's buzzing in Europe, and he's buzzing in America. He's still been able to give us that yo, which, I mean, Nigerians went crazy over. He put out Sweet Love. Sweet Love also did very well, and his latest release with Drake. So I think people just, you know, most Nigerians see anytime they see that there's an artist trying to, you know, cross over to the West, people tend to greet it with some unnecessary hostility, in the sense that they feel, oh, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to say that the African scene is no longer good enough for you? Let's see how you're going to make it in the West, where they don't even understand you. And, you know, when artists see these kind of things, you know, there's a sense of weight on their shoulders, there's pressure, and most times artists do not deliver. But I think Wizkid has been doing amazingly well. So anyone that's saying that he's not, you know, being true to himself is just trying to stir up some unnecessary news. I think over the years, you know, there's not really been that many, because I've tried as much as possible not to try and mirror what someone else is doing, because that would affect my own creative process. But I mean, I draw inspiration from, you know, like the journeys of a lot of artists. For example, MI being one of them, because MI came out and he made rap music. He made Nigerians see that rap music could also be, like, you know, very commercial and also very profitable, and still sticking to, you know, traditional rap culture, but he made it relatable for Nigerians. He made it a lot more fun. And, you know, at a time where most of the artists that were out and were successful were majorly singers, MI came on the scene and became as successful as, you know, your favorite singer. You know, same way singers were buying big cars and, you know, selling out shows, MI was also doing the same thing, releasing great music. Wizkid also. Wizkid is someone that, you know, I'm an artist that I'm known to sing and I'm known to rap at the same time. So when I was trying to be a commercial artist, I think Wizkid was one of those people that I was listening to a lot, and I was picking up points. I was picking up, you know, the way his you know, musical progression used to go, the way he used to sound, the way he used to sing, the way he infused a bit of Yoruba and English into all what he was doing. And I mean, it worked well for him. So I was able to find that balance and still rap a bit and still sing a bit. So Wizkid, and my Two-Face as well, is someone that's been in the game for as long as possible. And if not for anything, his humility is something that, you know, young artists always look up to. Like, it's a trait that you would want to have for yourself as well. So. Well, I mean, by default, you know, nobody would venture into anything and not expect to go all the way. So I think the only thing I could say about that is when success came musically, you know, Tiny always said something that, you know, when it was gonna happen, like, we wouldn't be ready for it. So when things started, you know, picking up, the records started doing amazingly well. I mean, I was getting bookings like back to back to back to back. So when all the fame and the popularity came, I honestly wasn't ready for it because I wasn't expecting it. But at the back of your mind, you put out, with everything you put out, any release, even a whack artist, when he's putting out his music, he's not gonna say this song is whack or it's not gonna do this. You're putting it out with all your aspirations behind it. So you, by default, you're always like, I know I'm going to make it, but I didn't expect it to be, you know, this soon, this quick, because in the space of 1-2 years, I think I've been able to achieve a lot as a young artist on the Nigerian scene and even outside the Nigerian scene. So it just makes me, it pushes me a lot more, because I know that if I can achieve this from 2015 to this point, I know looking 5 years down the line that we should have even done a lot more. So I know there's a lot more work to do, and to any young artists out there, I always try to give the best advice I can. I tell people that, you know, music is something that it doesn't happen overnight. Musical success doesn't happen overnight. If it happens, anything that happens quickly in turn doesn't last as long as it should. So I've been putting out music since 2012 before it picked up in 2015. So patience is one value that you need to have as someone that's, you know, on the come up, on the grind, because you won't say, okay, you started putting out music today and by next week you haven't gotten like 1 million views on YouTube and you start feeling like, oh, it's not gonna work out. It's a gradual process. The Wizkids and the, you know, Drakes and everybody that's successful today, it all took time. Everyone has a backstory. Everyone has something they were building up to. So patience is something you need to, you know, imbibe in yourself. And I mean, you can only make good music if you listen to good music. What you take in is equally as important as what you give out. It's your boy Ycee, Omar Alaji #1, New School Jagger Band, Link Up Daddy, and you know, pretty much the